Buongiorno, my gravity bambinos. Welcome back to a brand new Hearts of Iron 4 challenge on Le Epic Kaiser. There you go, just weeded out all the normies who can't handle a bit of cringe. And as I was playing HOI4 the other day, I was going to go for an achievement as the US. The one where you get Oppenheimer and you research the nuke or whatever. It's nothing crazy, I was just going to do it in a filler episode, but then it got me thinking. You see, this achievement, unfortunately, I can't get today because Paradox doesn't let you get achievements if you buff nations, which is a bit dumb in my opinion, because I had a great idea to make a pretty mundane, boring, and usually very easy achievement, American Prometheus, a bit more difficult. So I am going to be playing on Iron Man, even though it's completely pointless, and then I'm going to buff every single person I could end up fighting, because a lot of people, you know, they say HOI4 is a bit too easy, especially when you got 10 trillion hours in the damn game like me. Oh, should I buff the Soviets? I don't know if that's a good idea. Maybe we want the Germans to just trounce them. Yeah, we'll keep the you know what, we'll give like a half buff to the Soviets, because I might end up fighting them too. But yeah, I wanted to go for this Hearts of Iron 4 achievement, and I wanted to do it in a more difficult way. So in a way, we are going for the achievement today, but we're not going to get the achievement. But we are playing on Iron Man for no real reason. And we are going to buff everyone that we are going to fight to see if we can actually feel a difference. If you can actually read, I can't, you can see the buffs that the AI gets with these little bonuses. I don't think they're anything to turn your nose up, that's for sure. And it's gonna be real interesting to see what they can do with these bonuses, and to see if I could even capitulate even Japan, which, you know, I think I'm gonna be okay with Japan, but getting the Axis down might be a little bit more difficult. It depends how well they do with the Soviets here. You know, a lot of people ask me specifically to show off more of my division templates and stuff like that usually I'd consider very boring, because at this point, you know, if you don't know, you don't know. But you don't know probably because you only just got the game and you've stumbled upon one of my videos. If that's the case, could you hit the subscribe button down below? But today I'm going to try and inform you guys a bit better on how play game. Okay, for starters, as the US, as you can just see, I just selected all my navy. Pretty easy way to do this is just click on one of your fleets and then go shift click the rest of them down here, and when you've got them all selected, just control right click on a new port and then move them all there, and there you go. Your fleet will all be in one big giant death stack, which is the meta. And if you're wondering why that's the meta, it's because the AI actually does split up their fleet, which means you could pick it off pretty easy by simply out stacking them. And obviously there are better ways to do it. You could make a few smaller fleets that are really good. They can also beat the AI pretty easy, but if you don't want to bother with navy, just put them in one big giant death stack. Yeah, next up as a US, I guess, especially because this is going to be a bit of a difficult game, first thing I do is just build up every single strategic resource that we might need. And also because we're pretty much limited and get a massive debuff on building everything but infrastructure and our special project facilities at the start of the game, so you might as well just get to work on them and not waste your time. Speaking of which, we are technically going for an achievement that won't pop up, so we're going to get 2 nuclear research facilities down, and then I think 2 naval facilities too. We're definitely going to need a lot of submarines this game. Oh yeah, also if you want something to appear at the top of your construction queue, here's a handy tip. First go down, scroll down a little bit and click the like and subscribe button, and then when you select building, just control click and it will send it to the top. Wow. I think one day I'm going to make a HOI4 for real dumb beginner babies, and that's going to be the video. I'll probably put it on the iSorrow channel at some point, and you know, somebody might learn something. Speaking of which, all the starting boats you get as a US, I just usually delete the whole line. None of them are any good, I'll be real with you, and you can build some much better stuff from the start, aka convoys. You need a lot of convoys, and also just submarines. US actually starts with sub 2s. Pretty good. I mean, in particular, this sub 2 is not very good, because we could just whack on one more torpedo and upgrade the torpedoes on there, and they'd be a lot better. I think because, obviously, we're dealing with a buffed AI, I'm going to build a new fleet as well at some point, but we're going to start off with the submarines as soon as I get some naval XP to actually change that template. Okay, we also have like a ton of planes hanging around. We're just going to go ahead and probably delete all these bad boys and redeploy them. Yeah, in particular, we just want to get these fighters out the way. they're nothing great. The attack bombers, you can wait until later and just set them on a naval attack patrol when you're dealing with the Japanese, because they got quite a bit of range on these bad boys, so they're decent enough to stick over here in the Philippines for do a little bit of damage, you know? Wow, that's a lot of damage. You could say, but that's not what they'll do. They'll do a little bit of damage. Okay, Navy has been brought over. We are just going to leave this thing to do naval exercise, which will generate a whole bunch of Navy experience for us for the rest of the game now, until we need them for the Japanese later on. Okie dokie. We aren't going to do limited intervention because it'll actually allow us to put our economy law up way earlier, which is good, but it does cost a lot more. A neutrality act we can get down and get the giant wakes pretty quickly, which is just about the same thing anyway. And this stuff also gives you just a ton of political power, which is very useful because there are things we need to do. First off, we're going to get ourselves a air reformer guy. You could get this guy for 200 political power, but he does 0.40 and an extra air experience gain, which does sound good, but just any normal guy is usually enough. We'll probably get the air accidents chance, or maybe the operations penalty guy, but realistically, I don't care. The only care I give about what George Kenny does is getting this little number to actually go up, please. Yeah, you know, this video will be coming out in December, and that is the holiday Christmas period for a lot of you people. I'm assuming some of you may have on your little Santa's good boy list Hearts of Iron 4, which, you know, Santa is real, by the way, Timmy, and he does see that you want the World War II strategy game on your list, and he does think that's a little bit morbid. Would you not prefer the toy robot, potentially? Alright, the World War II political war simulator it is. But anyway, if you're getting HOI4, you know, in December, maybe this video can help you out starting your first game and learning a thing or two. Next up, with all this political power I get, we're going to get the army guy, and then we're going to save up some political power because I want to get an attaché over to China, which won't be for a little while. I'll start getting a whole bunch of XP because we're going to need it. Okay, for our special projects guy, we just want to get the guy that's the highest level, which is Robert H. Goddard over here, and he is going to get to work eventually on getting our radar. Okay, we're now going to go ahead, start producing our crappy little subs. These aren't amazing, but mostly I want to start upgrading our electric boat company little thingy-majibby, and we can also set up what perks we want on it immediately too. So you could do this by simply shift left clicking, and that will actually queue up what you want to go for in this tree. And the only thing I am actually after is sub-visibility, which is just going to make our submarines completely invisible, which is going to make them way more deadly, funnily enough. Okay, we've got our other massive amount of political bonus points from the WPA and completing that. We're going to spend those points on giving refugee to these two scientists over here in our decisions, which will give us a nice hefty buff to our research. Okay, Mr. Oppenheimer, I have a task for you. A large one for your large brain. It's to create a very large bomb. So currently in my research facilities, we are working on radar, cruiser submarines, and then after that we will go on to anechoic tiles, which should be very good to make our submarines pretty much invincible just from the bat of doing those two technologies. And we're also going to say 4 more years for Roosevelt, and by the time you've actually got those special facility projects built, you should also now get the New Deal, which will make the infrastructure construction speed bonus even better. Look at that, because now we're going to build it all. That's why it's better. Look at all this stuff we got to build. Oh yeah, but also Congress and Senate now hate me, so I'm going to click farm subsidies, where you pay 5% of your consumer goods, which is literally nothing in the new patch since they changed consumer good factor, and that will get that up slowly for us. Also, sometimes you'll get these things to get Senate support up. You only really need to do them at the start of the game. I usually just ignore them straight away after that, because obviously, you know, at the start, that's usually when you need the Senate support to get all of your stupid focuses through. So after then, I just completely ignore the stuff. I'm also rushing down to the Rubber Reserve Company because we are going to want to be very self-sufficient in this game, because I don't think the AI is going to be able to hold out too badly, which means I am going to need rubber, and it is a bit expensive to research that off the bat. I've also rushed heavy machine guns in the fighter section over here, so we can actually start producing some good planes. Not great planes that we're going to use a lot of, but we might as well get to work on producing some that we're actually going to be able to use. And I guess I can help you out on learning how to make a plane template if you're really that lost, Timmy. You just need to go down, scroll down, hit the sub and like button. Okay, the coolest thing ever about the US is you do start with the Marine Corps, baby. And just from training my Navy, I've already filled out the doctrine tree for them. And I'm going to go right side over here on both of them, as I find that is usually the best thing just for the starting naval invasion capacity down here. And obviously, if you're gonna go for the armored bonus over here, that's also pretty good. Amtraks are pretty useful, but mostly in Marines. Commandos are also very cool, very gimmicky, but just the starting naval invasion capacity at the start of the game is really good. It means we don't have to actually do any of the naval invasion techs to deal with Japan, and we can just save our research. On top of that, also, when we get the political power later, we can get Courtney Hodges, who will give us a special forces camp and another modifier to make our Marines even better later on. Now, for the Marine template I'm going to use, it will be this, simply down to the fact, which if you don't know, it would be better just to fill out as many Marines as we physically can here, but that is pretty expensive, mostly because we don't have the special forces cap. So even if you can't really afford this and you wanted more Marines, right now we can only get 4 of those out. We could even simplify this even more and subtract the Marines that we, have taken out for free artillery and keep it at 25 width. Personally, I just like to have as many Marines as I can in there because they have such good stats. But yeah, just 4 of these will be good for now. We'll be able to get a lot more of them later on. Oh, and also this template will change later on. I might put more artillery in, I might take the artillery out, or it really depends on what the AI is going to do here, because again, I'm not too sure what this buff is really capable of yet. Now, because obviously we are also going submarines pretty hard here, I am going to move over to trade interdiction over here, which gives a whole bunch of nice buffs to your submarines. Okay, Japan is going in on China. We want to get an attaché over to them as quickly as we can. Not only will that raise our war support, but we'll also get 15% of their army experience gain that they actually get from the Japanese War, which is really going to skyrocket our land doctrine, which we are also going to change to Grand Battle Plan. We're going Grand Battle Plan, TLDR, it gives you a lot of planning, and we're going to do a lot of planning, obviously, because we've got a lot of naval invasions. I'm probably going to change it late game, though, if I haven't gone too deep into it, depending on how much XP we have, obviously, into either superior or mobile warfare if I do tanks. Boom. There you go. We can already get down to the giant wakes, which will move us off of our isolation and onto civilian economy. Then we can obviously move up to at least partial mobilization pretty much immediately as soon as I get the PP to do it. And that's mostly down to the fact that we get the free war support from sending the attaché over to China, so our economy is indeed about to wake the hell up. Oh yeah, just conveniently in time for all of our infrastructure to finally be done building. And I know what you're thinking. What's he gonna build next? It's gonna be military factories, obviously, because no, we're gonna go ahead and get some dockyards down. Yeah, we ain't gonna do too much, but I am just gonna build a little navy just in case. So we're gonna get whacked down, just all of those, and then we will actually build a bit of military factories. Okay, now that we've done survivability studies, we can also now build our first fighter, which oh my god, I forgot. Yeah, we have so much random crap in here as America. We're just gonna turn all of that off. We don't need any of that. We literally don't need a single one of them, except this basic airframe down here. A lot of people have already probably told you the meta fighter. I am going to do a bit of a non-meta fighter. I'm going to put 2 engines on this. I'm going to put armored plates, and I'm going to put self-sealing on them. This is going to do pretty damn well, but it won't be the one we're going to use throughout the game. And that's mostly down to the fact it is a basic fighter. We can't do too much, and because we have engine 1s, we can't afford just to put engine 2, sorry, we can't afford to put just a single engine on there. And I do want both the air defense and stuff on there, along with the air attack. So it's pretty costly, but You do need those 2 engines. And then you can also just convert all your starting fighters, which means your fighters that you actually have at the start of the game are going to be a lot better than the AI can ever produce until you can actually get the second airframe and the engine, which I'm now researching. But these little fighters that we are building will do pretty damn well against the enemy, and as soon as we've got that new engine, we will just replace the 2 engines with the single free one. Sure, a lot of people are also asking, will you do tank? And the answer is maybe. There you go. We've completed the giant wakes, which means we can immediately go up into partial mobilization, and the economy is gonna start getting rolling. All we need to do now is the Federal Housing Act, which should unlock soon, and our economy is gonna be the best it can be until we are actually at war now. And yeah, next thing we're researching in our special projects is anechoic tiles. These are gonna make our submarines even better, and if you don't actually want to do anything else past this is all you need to make a pretty meta submarine that the AI is not going to be able to do anything about. And yeah, just from starting off, I have a lot of submarines. A lot of these are our starting ones, the sub 2s, which I did upgrade. They're not amazing, but they're doing pretty well, and we're up to our level 4 on our sub little thing here. But I've also got my cruiser subs out. I don't have the anechoic tiles yet, but I do have radar too. I've never really put these on submarines before, but I thought, heck, why not? Let's go ahead and do it, and I've been upgrading them as we go. Yeah, I'm not too sure if the radar's really going to be able to do too much, honestly. The surface detection, because we're going to have a few of them spread throughout our submarine fleet, might be able to add up, but because we won't have the radars on our latest models, and yeah, we'll throw them in. We'll see what happens. If they're good, I won't even know. I'll be real with you. But yeah, there's an absolute menacing submarine fleet already. We could go ahead and train these bad boys as well, so they're ready. And I will do that. That'll make it so that they have better stats in battle, funnily enough, because they do come out fresh. Yeah, when I say fresh, I ain't talking like, yo, whoa, Jimmy, yo, fresh. No, I'm talking more like, yo, Jimmy, did you just drop the torpedo on my foot? It was the torpedo ticking. We also need to get to work on building our synthetic refineries. Best place to put these down is obviously the states that you have actually built infrastructure, as they will build faster, funnily enough. So like I said, we are going to build a new navy that will be able to beat anything the AI does, and it's going to be pretty simple. We are just going to stack as much light attack as we can on cruisers. We're not going to worry about a single other stat. Whack down fire control systems. We could get the radar for the spotting. We'll get the engine on, and we're not even going to bother put armor on them, because we're just going to make these things so powerful in the light attack they will wipe all of their screens out before they even get a chance to hit us. And another good bonus about just doing no armor is that we only have to pay pure steel to build these things. You won't need any chromium. Okay, we have researched anechoic tiles now, which means we can upgrade our cruiser submarines both on our military industrial organization and by putting the anechoic tiles in. So that will get us down to 10 visibility, which is very nice. Obviously, the downside here is that we have to pay rubber to put them in, but it's most certainly worth it, and we will be self-sustainable on our rubber eventually. Yeah, I'm also only going to put 2 full lines now on submarines and get the rest going on some destroyers after this, because I think we have quite a few submarines. Now, obviously, a lot of them are just going to disappear because they're going to be caught, as they don't have much visibility hiding. But you know, they're gonna help a little bit, I guess. And there we go, fellas. Gonna go ahead and change our engine over to engine 3. Look at the production costs go down to literally nothing right there. That is so much better, and we're just gonna start spamming out a whole bunch of planes. Yeah, we're not gonna bother converting the planes we already converted that we started with, because I did do that. They're gonna be fine. It's just the engine difference. And then when we get the new little airframe, we'll build something a bit different, because we want to get a bit more range on these things. Okay, now for our destroyers, we just want to ramp up as much torpedo attack as we can on these bad boys. I'm going to whack down a little depth charge on one of them, just in case the AI has a few little submarines that this fleet will run into. Probably unlikely, I'm going to review, because I'm probably also going to build naval bombers. So we could stack even more torp attack, but we really don't have to get that sweaty with the AI, I'll be real. I mean, I say that, I am playing with the buffed AI, obviously. This could be a bit of horrible foreshadowing, but I think we'll be fine. Okay, with these refineries getting done as well. We really need to remember to build up the Philippines because that will be our base of operations. I usually whack down one more port over there for the supply, connect the railway, and then whack down a couple of airfields, and that should be enough. Okay, we got our new airframe, and this is pretty much going to be the airframe and the airframe design that we're going to use for the rest of the game now. So just copy what I'm doing: self-sealing fuel tanks, extra fuel tanks, armor plates, engines free, heavy machine guns. Every time you upgrade the airframe, copy this, add any of these modules you want more of. It's pretty simple. If you want more range, just add another range one on. If you want a bit more armor and defense, add more armor and defense. You know the drill. It's pretty simple. All that makes the difference is these heavy machine guns and the armor, defense, the agility. Obviously, that's it. It's pretty simple. It's not changed. AI can't make planes to save their life. Yeah, buff Japan is doing really well in China. I don't know if they're going to be around to when the Japanese actually declare on us, which is a little bit But speaking of which, the Japanese will be coming in on us soon enough. I have moved the army over to the Philippines, and we've got our 8 Marines, which I should probably train up actually, so they're ready to go when we get our naval invasion off, which goes straight into Japan. Yeah, we can capitulate Japan as quickly as possible here. That means we can go focus on the Germans, who are going to be the real threat this game, and they also haven't gone around the Benelux yet and have been pushed by the French, so maybe they won't be a threat at all. Okay, now for our main infantry division, because we don't have enough artillery yet, we're not going to put any in the main line. We are just going to get it up to 22 because we've got plenty of guns hanging around, and that is it. It should be fine for dealing with Japan, but when we obviously deal with the where did France go? Yeah, but when we come back for dealing with the oh my god, the Italians are doing well too. Okay, yeah. Okay, when we get around to dealing with the Germans, we're definitely going to change that template. Alright, also sending this grandma, Wolf, Charlotte Walker, codename The Wolf, to go spy on the Japanese and get an intel network going. Oh, there goes China. That is not going to be too fun for us soon. Also, the Axis in Europe doing very well. I can definitely tell we may have buffed them a little bit. Okay, Germans and the Soviets are fighting. We're still waiting for Japan, who's just refusing and taking their damn time to come fight us. There you go. Finally, they're gonna fight me. There you go. First thing I did, I went straight up to total mob. Then when I get another up to 100 political power, we can do Rosie the Riveter, and that will get rid of the recruitable population factor that comes with total mobilization. And then, of course, I unleash my submarine horde on the Japanese, which is going to completely wreck them, I imagine. We've also got ourselves our brand new fleet that we built, and I'm going to go ahead and put them in the East China Sea on patrol, and they'll hopefully come into contact with the Japanese fleet and blow it up. Well, on top of our other starting fleet that we have on strike force. Now, Japan has declared on the Allies too. I've joined their faction. I haven't joined the war against the Germans yet, but dear lord, I'm going to have to quickly. But yeah, the Japanese have a absolutely metric ton of troops right now, probably because of the buff, obviously, and I am convoy raiding them, which means that they can't get on the front over here, so they're all going to be stuck in Japan. Okay, I'm not going to be landing to a very happy party, I imagine. Alright, yeah, but let's go ahead, try get a landing in Japan so that we can rush back over to Europe and try and help them before the complete collapse over here, because they're getting beat out of Africa again. They won it back for a while, but it's not looking good. Okay, we have to go for a complete revising of the plans. I got a little landing over in Nagasaki and got completely swarmed by like 283 Japanese divisions. This, though, is getting pretty serious. So I've joined the war against the Axis to send some submarines over there. Hopefully that can do something to help out those guys while I work on Japan here. Yeah, big problem was Japan, funnily enough, has a ton of submarines that I can't even detect right now, even though I got naval bombers up, because I don't have any radar. And I can't build it in the Philippines, so I'm going to have to annex them so I can get the radar up. Yeah, and once I have those submarines dealt with, I can actually get a landing into Japan without my units being half strength, because currently these 47 Japanese submarines are wrecking me. Yep, and we're gonna have to come to terms with the facts The Soviets are no more. There we go. Managed to land on Taiwan, no problem. And we are finally picking off those Japanese destroyers. I think I've got like, 20 so far because of the radar actually detecting them now. But with the Soviets gone, this is definitely going to become a lot tougher. Okay, we're going for Operation Booty Bop. It looks a little bit weird, but I think it'll do okay. Now, worst part is because the Soviets capitulated, the Japanese apparently puppeted them, and I also need to go capitulate them. I don't think they're going to be as tough to deal with, because as soon as we capitulate Japan, these guys aren't buffed. Well, they are. They're half buffed, but China isn't buffed, so we'll be able to go through them and then hopefully get over there. It's a bit of a pain because that does mean we're going to have to go into China next, but considering what's on the border here and the AI is struggling to push them, I don't think it's going to be too much problem for someone with a brain. Okay, but first thing we're doing was getting Panam with 5 units to run a distraction force up into Hokkaido, and then hopefully when the AI is moving troops around, we're going to do our main invasion over here on the coast. There you go. Sacrificial distraction force landed. Time for the boys to give it a go. Operation Booty Bop is looking pretty good. Oh, and that would have been the achievement if Paradox wasn't trying to harsh my vibe. Okay, we've got Japan on the ropes now. I've pushed them out of the north, and that's mostly down to the fact I built some tanks. So I've been building some tanks the whole time, and I only deployed them as we landed in Japan by swapping the templates. I didn't want them to get raided into the ground by the subs. And yeah, I opted for SPGs because in this scenario, I think we probably want to just get the best soft attack we can on the AI, which has just spammed out so many troops. And yeah, it's got 506 soft attack. We can make a better one now. I've got better tech, but for now, this is gonna do mighty fine. Okay, just use my SPGs to completely encircle the Japanese army there. Easy peasy. Yeah, that's definitely going to sting. And there you go. I didn't even close the pocket. I've capitulated Japan, which means I get all the equipment from those units. Pretty good. Now I need to make it over to here in Tanatuva. Again, I don't think this is going to be too difficult. It probably will when we get up there and the German units end up turning up, because they're going to. And but if we just get the capitulation off on the Russian side, we can just hit and run them, get in, get out. It'll all be fine, hopefully. I mean, China itself only has 1 unit, so why the AI has struggled so much down here, I don't know. Sad part is, even with Japan capitulate, they've still got like 100 divisions. That's disgusting. Okay, we're doing the mad dash to Tanatuva currently before the Germans turned up. They've already rocked up with a pretty big force into China, but I'm just going to ignore that and go for the capitulation. Oh, we did it. We actually got a look at I have all the war score. The AI did nothing. Okay, I'm just going to satellite everyone. That way, technically, I get the buffs that AI does. I mean, I don't, but they will as my puppet. Plus, I don't want to have to deal with this land. I'm gonna be real with you. Hey, that looks kind of cool, actually. That's real blue. Yeah, but as we've just gained that land, we're probably just as quickly now about to lose it, because I'm going to abandon it, leave it to the AI. If they manage to survive, that's good for them, and we're going to get ourselves over to Europe to hopefully get the work on the Axis. Now, surprisingly enough, the AI has actually made a couple of landings, so we could just get straight into that. Oh, I can tell you something. The German AI has been very busy. They got 16,000 planes. Now, good news is the Germans are currently suffering from 100% consumer goods factor because they haven't got rid of their economy of conquest. I'm not too sure how they haven't reached autarky yet, but either way, not complaining about that. I'm complaining about the fact they no longer suffer the penalties of my submarines in the Med because they have a land border down into Africa. I'm not going down there, though, to deal with that. Well, I noticed on my way into the UK, they just got a landing over here in Portugal, so instead of going to the UK, I've made a pit stop in Iberia. I want to see if I can just quickly capitulate Portugal, because that would be so... I'm terrified to actually click and see how many troops the Germans actually have. Oh, it's just the Germans too. I don't even know how many the Italians have. The Italians got like 300. The Hungarians, they got almost 100. Oh, there's a lot. That's a lot of troops currently trying to push me out. I have complete air supremacy though, because I did build just a ton of airports as soon as I landed, and the AI, if you don't know, is incapable of building airports. So I'm just going to keep building as many as I can and hopefully win the air and thus the battle here. Also, they are just like destroying their own supply here, but I'm stretched super thin. I only have this one army right now. I'm getting some more guys out just to try and see if we can hold this, because this could be us winning right here. Oh, you know, conveniently, I was about to ask, so how do we deal with this situation? And there's the thermonuclear bomb. Yeah, I think I'm not going to use thermonuclear bombs, at least not yet. I'll wait until I've got nuclear warheads before I start using them, which is a year away, because I want to see if I can make a push without, you know, using the cheese method. Oh yeah, I can definitely, most certainly make a push, and I think that is definitely, most squirtingly, down to the fact that my cat is probably shredding them to pieces. You know, I'd try and micro this to, like, you know, get some real sick encirclements and overruns, but there is just so many units on the map right now. There are more flooding in to try and deal with what's happening. I'm not even sure how many units we just got there, but the casualties are looking, well, 1.9 million on the Italians, and then 4 million on the Germans, and 1 million on the Spanish. Yeah, there's a lot. We just did a lot. I'm just going to assume that a lot of the German units are over here trying to take Asia. My AI companions are over there finding them and keeping them busy at least, which means I'm just going to keep pushing, see how far we can get here. Okay, Germans do have a ton of planes, and it's a little bit annoying, so I'm going to drop a couple bombs if they do land to try and slowly take out these airports. Well, I said I'd wait until I get nuclear missiles before I started really throwing those thermonuclear weapons, and I've got them now. So I'm going to start launching them because I'm tired and want to go to bed. And considering the AI has so many units, they are doing quite the work. Well, all it took was turning Belgium into the surface of the sun, but we have finally got the breakthrough we need to finish off Germany. And the casualties are looking quite spectacular on both sides now, actually. We capitulate the Germans, which is hilarious, by the way, because they've now just turned into Russia. I thought this land might capitulate with them, but no, I guess the Germans have headed east. That's so insane. Look at that. They've still got like 500 divisions capitulated. Okay, sure thing. I don't think you've capitulated. Yeah, even in, you know, their capitulation, they have double the divisions I have. And of course, defeating the Axis always comes down to the last push into Bulgaria, and we will finally be free of this nightmare. I also love the fact Bulgaria actually got their own collab government off on Turkey. Well done, Bulgaria. Oh my god, it is done. Oh my god, that was pure insanity. It's kind of sad as well, because obviously we are democratic, and if you're democratic and you puppet a nation in a peace deal, they just become a supervised state, which means Russia is now just free again and democratic, quote unquote. We still have China, but I think Japan's broken free as well. Yeah, they're all out. Still got China for a little bit, but they'll break free eventually. But that is why I decided to occupy the German lands directly, because then we can just go ahead, release nation, and you will get it as a actual puppet that way. And you don't have to worry about them breaking free. That was the last lesson I have to teach you today. Well, there you go. Democracy has been brought back to Europe. All it took was millions of Americans dying and a couple thermonuclear bombs being dropped, but it was very fun. Definitely a challenge, I gotta say it, especially the invasion of Japan, funnily enough. That was one of the hardest parts of this game. Yeah, I kind of made this a lot harder on myself by obviously getting their entire army stuck on their island by obviously convoy raiding them so they couldn't take their army out of Japan, but it was still fun. And the SPGs I created were obviously, you know, they did all the work there. But yeah, technically we did get the achievement too. I mean, I don't have it, but I won't be showing that achievement again. I just thought this was a very interesting game, and I'll clear that one up like 5 speed on my own and single player at some point, probably while, you know, uploading this video, funnily enough. But yeah, that was very fun. If you haven't ever tried buffing the AI like that, I highly recommend you do, because it is one hell of a challenge. Seeing the AI run around with 1,000 divisions is certainly something. But I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you leave a like, subscribe down below, and if you want to see more tutorial stuff like that, let me know, because I will do one for my second channel at some point, but you gotta let me know, or else I don't know if you want it or not. Do you want it? I don't know. Let me know. Go ahead, comment. Goodbye.